Howdy, folks. Stray Cat 74 here, live from the Basement of Solitude. No, that's not a bisexual flag or gay flag or anything like that. That's a towel that was a little bit damp from when I was washing brass the other day, and I hung it up over the door. Yes, I did take the American flag down first, so I don't want to hear anybody, oh, but your flag. It's a freaking door, okay? It's just hanging up there. Welcome to Bookworm Wednesday, or at least that's what I'm going to call this until I have a better title for it. I've got a small selection of books, as you can see back there. I've got a lot of books. Actually, it's this one right here, and the one next to it is ammo, reloading supplies. So pay no attention to that one. But this one's books. This one's stuff. The one in the middle, directly behind me, is movies, and some of those are 2 levels deep, but we're not doing that today. We're not touring my room here. Just, there's books over here. Trust me on this one. There's a lot of books over there. 6 foot wide. There's, 7 shelves? And they're stacked 2 deep in most cases. Yeah, I got a lot of books. This is my library. This is, I've always, what was it, Philip Borghese or something like that. I don't remember the exact quote, but I've always thought paradise a kind of library. Yeah, literally, my room is a library. At least it is to me. So, there are all kinds of things that you need in a survival situation, but stuff, while it's good and handy to have, isn't the end-all be-all. Without the knowledge of how to use that stuff, or when to use that stuff, or if to use that stuff. What's the point? If you don't know how to set up your tent ahead of time, when you absolutely have to have it up in a hurry, are you going to be able to? Maybe not as quickly, maybe not as effectively. How about starting a fire? What if all you got is 2 sticks? What if you have 2 sticks and a piece of string? How do you start a fire? If you don't know how, it doesn't matter what you have. You can have the best fire starting equipment available to mankind. If you don't know how to use it, it's worthless. So, load the noggin up with good stuff, and I've got a bunch of resources here. And yes, my fingernails are black, okay? It's the only color I can paint them without getting crap from people in public. So let's start with something really basic. Now, this is my own personal copy that I've had for decades, and this is the Cub Scout Handbook. I never actually made it to Boy Scouts, but I did Cub Scouts. And, oh my goodness, I don't even know when this was. It used to have a date in here someplace. I have no idea. But this was long before the Mormon Church got involved, so yeah, this one's old. So, I started with this. Then, this is actually the 3rd copy of this book I had. One of them got ruined. The other one got lost when my ex-wife decided not to pay my storage unit. So I bought a new one. It's the U.S. Army Survival Guide. A lot of really good information in here. Why is water purification tablets in my book? I was wondering where the hell those went to. So, anyhow, a civilian's best guide to toughing it out any place in the world. I can't tell you how many times I've read this, and I remember most of it. Next one on my list of... Now, these are just stuff that I refer to... this one not so much, but this is stuff I refer to frequently. Foxfire. My dad had the complete collection of Foxfire. And eventually I will as well, because the electricity doesn't fail with paper. I will get these eventually as PDF files to put onto my Kindle, which I keep right next to me, and I constantly refer to it. This one is iron making, blacksmithing, flintlock rifles, bear hunting, and other affairs of plain living. As a guy that likes to think of himself as a blacksmith knife maker, iron making, blacksmithing, I don't do flintlock rifles. I do cap and ball percussion rifles, but flintlocks, I could probably, with a lot of time and effort, make a flintlock. Or at least something that kind of functioned like one. But this would help. Because like I said, I like to think of myself as a blacksmith. I'm a knife maker. I could probably blacksmith if I had to, but I got this for reference, and I haven't touched these in, oh goodness gracious, I was still living with my dad. So I haven't read this in over 30 years. This one was published or at least this one was given to somebody in 1984, because there's a little thing in here that says 12/25/84 to David from Charlene. So I assume this was a gift to somebody. Well, thank you, Charlene, whoever you are, for giving it to David. I have it now, and it's in pristine, almost unread condition, which probably doesn't say a whole lot about David, but I'm going to read the hell out of this. Another really good book for knowing how to do things is The Knowledge, How to Rebuild Our World from Scratch. And while it doesn't go into excessive amounts of detail, it gives you enough information that a smart and intelligent, brainy types could figure this shit out. Even not so brainy types. I mean, humans have used fire for basically as long as we have been humans. Long before we ever became humans, if you believe in evolution. This helps you rediscover the scientific principle if we ever lose it. Because science doesn't change. The laws of the universe will always be the laws of the universe, and following this as a guide can help you discover other things. Like, it doesn't tell you how to make nitrous oxide. It points you in the right direction, and then you have to figure it out yourself. And that's part of the beauty of this book. I have this as audiobook, and I can't tell you the number of times I've listened to it. Then to come back and look at the pictures. I mean, come on. Check that out. That's interesting. That's not quite the way I envisioned it in my head when I was listening to the audiobook. When it describes the Norfolk four-course rotation for a crop rotation, I'd never heard of it before. And that's really fascinating. We can do things a hell of a lot better these days with chemical fertilizers and such. And even before that, without chemical fertilizers, how we can get more out of our fields just by changing our crops from one growing season to the next. And I'm going to apologize about the fuzzy flicker thing going there with color there. It's my laptop camera, so excellent book. I highly recommend it. Another thing you may need in a survival situation, I do not endorse this book, but other people will. It may help other people, not so much me. I'm more of the survive out of spite kind of guy than this book, would lend to. And yes, this is my own copy. 1981, Christmas of 1981, and this is a children's Bible. I had the half again larger version, and this one was slightly damaged in a fire and did get soaked a few times, so there's some mold in there. And if you think this is God's literal truth, even if you believe in a God, it's just a book. It just contains information, whether you choose to believe it or not. I'm to the point I don't believe. I don't believe in almost anything. I believe in the universe. I believe in some of my friends. But an invisible guy living on a cloud judging me? I've got enough people judging me as it is. So, for some people, this is essential for survival, because they have to have something to believe in. I don't believe in myself. I have no self-confidence, I have no self-esteem, and that probably comes across in my videos. But some people need something to survive with. I keep this because it was a gift from my mother. Well, it says mom and dad, but it's in my mother's handwriting. So, I keep this for sentimental reasons, because it's from my mom. It's like with my bunny rabbit. Actually, you can see Bunny right here. My mother gave me Mr. Bunny when it was either 15 or 16. I honestly don't remember now. But it was given to me for Easter, and I've kept him ever since. Both of my children played with it when they were younger. Um, my ex-wife and I used to play tug of war with him at night to see who would sleep with Mr. Bunny. So there's a lot of memories associated with that. I keep him in my room. Sometimes I even have him in my bed. The best thing to do for me is to stick him in the small of my back as I'm laying on my side, and it gives that illusion of somebody being there. It's not much, but when you're grasping at straws, it gives you something, right? I prefer somebody to actually be there, somebody who wants to be there, but, comes in handy once in a while. Here's brain tanning the Sioux way. I'll tell you right now, this is a very small book, as you can see. It contains a lot of information, and somehow somebody spilled coffee on it or something. But this was first printed in 1973, and the 16th printing was 1998. Tanning deer hide, or any kind of hide, using this method will make it last about a year. It's not, I don't want to say it's not as good. I will say it is not as enduring as modern chemical methods. But if you only need a piece of clothing to last, or a piece of leather to last about a year, this will work. And it isn't that difficult. Another really good one to know. I mean, especially if you're in a survival situation, you need clothing, you need, bags, you need a water skin or whatever. Interesting information. Yes, I've read this a few times. Next one, a lot of people are going to make fun of me because of the whole zombie apocalypse thing, but it actually has some pretty decent information in it in regards to survival. What do you need to survive? Immediate and necessary. It's a good reference. Don't take the zombie stuff so seriously. Most people who are into zombies don't take the zombie part of it all that seriously, and mainly because A, zombies don't actually exist except for those ants, and B, it really depends on what kind of zombies. The fast, smart zombies, oh, we're just screwed. The slow, stupid, shambling ones that are famous in video and movies, eventually we would win back. But not with The Walking Dead. Oh, I hate that show. Just because the stupidest possible people in the world survive. And yet, the smartest, most prepared usually don't. It's all drama. I'm not a really big drama fan. No offense to The Walking Dead folks. If you want me to be in your show, you can hire me. I can be bought. But I don't take zombies seriously. But the rest of the information in here is actually really rather interesting. Worth giving it a read. A couple of more military references. I'm actually not going to show this one on camera because I don't want people freaking out. But an actual, military Department of the Army field manual. Let's see, when the heck was this one written? 1957. So this has been around for a while. And I bought this at Ace Hardware, and I'm covering up the sticker that has the price on it. But lots of good information. The U.S. Army Survival Guide that I have contains almost word for word some of the same sections as this does. Really good reference. I will always recommend this book. And there are a lot of different covers and by a lot of different people, but this is the one that I always go to because I know it. Like I said, I can't tell you how many times I've read this. And I reread it on occasion. 100 Deadly Skills is an interesting one that I recently picked up. Um, I definitely do not endorse the more violent aspects of this, but knowing is a lot more important than not knowing. So, I mean, if you know how to control a skid, that's one of the things that goes into here. Um, how to make a ladder out of cloth. I mean, that's how to make a hook and stuff. There's a lot of information in here. Some of it I highly endorse. The rest of it, I'm not going to, just because I don't want to get in trouble from somebody. Here's another good one. 98 Degrees: How to Keep Your Butt Alive. Um, I've only read through this one once, and there was some really good stuff in here. Some stuff I don't necessarily think would work very well, like the whole using your urine in a plastic bag to start a fire. Um, can it be done? Yeah. There's a lot better ways to make fire, but it's interesting information. Definitely worth a read. And there are thousands of books I could be bringing up, and all of them are probably going to have something you don't know. Knowing, as they say, is half the battle. The other half of the battle is red lasers and blue lasers. G.I. Joe reference there. Here's a couple of more primitive skills. Native American crafting skills and mountain man crafting skills. I actually haven't gotten to this one yet. As you can see, I'm about a quarter of the way through on this one. But I keep getting distracted by stuff. Another good one is wilderness living and survival skills. Again, I'm about halfway through on this one. Lots of really interesting information. Definitely different perspectives, like the whole bow drill base thing. Lots of good stuff. Read everything you can get your hands on. Find new places to get your hands on information. Paper doesn't fail when the lights go out, when the power goes out. I have a couple of candles in my room. I've got, you can see right about here, my hurricane lantern. I can always read something. Now, here's another one. It doesn't necessarily tell you how to survive any given situation, but it's the mindset of survival. Like I said earlier, I'm more of a survive out of pure spite kind of guy. This helps you understand the mindset of people who do survive, and they survive in the most extraordinary circumstances. And this is the Survivors Club. The number one thing he says in here is faith. Again, I don't necessarily subscribe to that. I'm not saying that it wouldn't work for you. I'm just saying it didn't necessarily work for me. Believing that God would make everything better hasn't made anything better for me. So maybe it'll work for you. If you're a religious type person, please don't let me question your faith. If you believe in something, that's great. I believe I need to drink some coffee here. That's about as much as I'm going to believe. Hawaiian Kona. Extra strong. Just the way I like it. So, The Mindset of Survival. Great book. Here's another ye oldie book. And let's see if I can find when this was written. This is a really old book as far as my collection is concerned. Let's see, that's when the printer was established, 1831. I doubt that's when this book was written. Actually, I don't see a this was printed on thing. Printed and bound in the United States of America by the Telegraph Press, established 1831, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Oh, here it is. Copyright 1956 by Bradford Angier. living off the country. Um, Sometimes the older ways are the best ways. Sometimes the new ways are the best ways. The only way to find out which is better for you is try them out. So, a couple of old books, lots of new books, and I'm kind of hesitant on these last 3 books that I got here. And these are just random books. Well, I won't say random books that I pulled off my shelf. Raising Cain, The Unexpected Art. I've always thought canes were really sophisticated. I tried to buy one. Actually, I've bought 3, and all 3 of them broke in the mail before I got them. Yeah. Don't buy cheap Chinese crap and expect it to be decent. One of these days I'll have to make myself a cane, and I got this in anticipation of having a cane to practice with. So, I haven't, I've glanced through it a few times. Some of it is, fairly straightforward. It's just one of those things people wouldn't necessarily think of. So, for those people who have to use a cane to walk, it's something you can use when you have nothing else. Most of the people I know that actually have to use canes to walk also carry a pocket buddy. And in case you're wondering what a pocket buddy is, it's usually a fairly small concealable handgun. I have a couple of pocket buddies, and I rotate through them on a regular basis depending on what I'm wearing, where I'm going, and, how I feel that day. These last 2 books, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. Let's go with... this one is no longer being printed, and I don't blame them for it. However, like the Anarchist Cookbook, it's one of those things that has been around forever. You used to be able to get it anywhere. Yes, I've read it, and I don't really endorse most of this. But if you have to, you have to. I'm not endorsing it. Please don't refer to me as saying, hey, this guy said. No. And this last book here, by Claire Wolfe, and this is actually the second edition, and from what I understand, she has a 3rd edition out that delves into things even further, is really political, depending on how you look at it. It's called The Freedom's Outlaw. 170, well, it used to be 101 things to do until the revolution. Now it's 179. Her new book is well over 200 things to do until the revolution, because it's too late to work within the system and too early to hang the bastards, as far as she's concerned. I disagree with both statements. I don't think it's too late to work within the system. We have to stand united as a people. Black, white, yellow, red, chartreuse, I don't care. We're all fucking Americans. Act like it. Stop allowing them to divide us by color, by class, by creed, by, Christians, atheists, whatever. I don't care what you believe in. You're a fucking American. Act like it. Sorry. Little rant there. I'm kind of passionate about that. I'm trying to not go into the politics of that so much. But it's not too late to work within the system if we stand together as a people. It's also not too early to hang the fucking bastards or shoot them. I'm not endorsing shooting them, but I'd understand. Term limits would drastically change the political landscape, because they wouldn't stay in Congress for 30 or 50 fucking years. Whether or not they get their congressional salary for life thing, we can address that after we get term limits on Congress. We already have term limits on the president. Maybe we should have a upper age limit for the Supreme Court. There's a couple of few there that would be eliminated right off the bat. Well, not eliminated as in forced out of the job by having an age limit, which I don't think is unreasonable, but if you're 90 and all you have known all your life is sitting in judgment, I don't think you should be defining what marriage is. Um, okay, we're going to delve into politics for a second. Let's bring up gay marriage because that was a big deal, right? Um, they were trying to get laws passed to make gay marriage illegal. Some states did, others rejected it. Personally, I don't think marriage should be a legal institution. It should be an arrangement between two people, and I'm going to stick with two people as my definition just because I know couples that are more than two people. Well, more than two people would be more than a couple. But I know family units with more than two people in them, other than the children. So multiple males, multiple females, and various combinations thereof that have worked. One of the best that I knew lasted for 20 years, and they all just kind of went their separate ways after that. No real big drama in some aspects, but way too much drama in other aspects. And I don't want to name names. They know who they are, and I don't want to, I hate gossip. I've seen it work. Um, One of my cousins is flamingly gay, can dance better in high heels than I can pronounce the word, or words, and has been living happily with his partner, who he's now legally married to in the state of Illinois, for a very long time. And I have absolutely no problem with that. None whatsoever. The only problem I have with him is I'm a writer and he doesn't read. That's my only problem with him, really. And that's more of I love reading so much I can't understand somebody who doesn't. Like, I love chocolate so much and I can't understand how somebody couldn't. I love coffee so much. Speaking of coffee, I can't understand somebody, oh, I don't like coffee. How do you live with yourself? How do you live without coffee? I'm not going to judge you. I don't understand. So, now, he lives with his partner. That's all fine for him. Great. I have no problem with that. I don't think marriage should be a legal institution. Government has no business knowing who I sleep with or don't sleep with. None of their damn business. The Supreme Court had no place making that national. None. They overstepped their bounds. I don't disagree with the ends, but marriage should not be a legal institution, as far as I am concerned. And I'm going to throw that caveat in. I'm an opinionated fucking asshole, okay? You're getting my opinions. I'm not saying if I could rewrite the universe, it would be blah. I can't. And trust me, you wouldn't want me to. I also wouldn't want the job, which means I probably would be okay with, actually doing the damn job if I had that power, but that's a whole nother thing. So, knowledge, let's segue back to what we were talking about earlier. Knowledge is power. Study hard. Be evil. Come on. Damn it. Fucking, really? I'm going to go ahead and stop this. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon down below, leave a comment in the comment section below. I'm still taking questions for 20 questions whenever I get enough questions to actually do that. I have a Patreon and a Twitch. Both of those will be linked in the down below in the description section. Sorry, this is my second coffee. So if you care to send me money via PayPal, straycat_74, I greatly appreciate any and or all donations I get. Um, I'm looking to make more content. If you want to see something in particular from me, um, leave a comment below. If you don't want to see me anymore, leave a comment below. Or just unsubscribe, and then you won't have to see me anymore. Unless I come up in your feed, which means you'll see me again.